Yo, Pack family, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. So, y'all guys know what we are here to do. It's Sunday. Today is February 16th, and y'all guys know what we came here to do. So, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to be breaking down GJ, gold, and NAS. We're going to be breaking down NAS on more so of the future side. So, let's actually jump right into it. Alrighty, so here we are on GBPJPY, aka GJ. And this is the weekly time frame. Notice in the weekly time frame how we are on a bit of an uptrend. Notice how we are making higher highs and higher lows. Notice that we have a lot of higher lows, which are mainly the bottom circles here. And just notice that price as of right now settled on this 38.2, which is the most aggressive level. So we can expect an aggressive push up to the upside eventually, right? Now, on the daily time frame, we kind of go within here. We can see here where we kind of broken structure and came back and made a retest. And we're basically trading in a range, in a defined range right now, because we haven't came lower than these points down here, but then this is also the highest point. So we primarily just been bouncing off of these two supply and demand areas, using them as an area of support to kind of stabilize the market and keep it upwards. You can see, let me kind of delete that. You can kind of see here where as we go down lower, you're going to see that we had a transition of trend here. And this has basically been the lowest part that the market came and transitioned to prior before this point, which means that this area is next to be acted as some area of support, if anything, right? So we kind of have this area kind of marked off. But again, we kind of found support on this white little line right here, which is the 189 area. Going down to like the 10-hour time frame, you can see the details on the area that I was talking about right here from where we broke. And our price kind of came and just wicked that area, right? So that just lets me know that there's some serious rejection coming down from this area right here. And it's based on where we are overall. There's an area of support in between. Going down to like the 6-hour, we can predominantly see the details good enough to see that, hey, we were in some form of downtrend to where we formed lower highs and lower lows. And then we finally broke this area. Once we broke it, we made a new low point, but then we just broke this area back to the upside, which makes me consider that, hey, from this low point from right here to right here, this is an area for a retest at the lowest point. But, you know, price can respect this area, or this area. Now, predominantly just because this one is a retest area as well, I said at lowest, we probably can come back to 189. So just a little heads up. Looking at the details of structure, you can kind of see clearly basically where I have this green that this is a main area of trend. And what I mean by that is obviously we're going to pick it up from right here and show you guys structure so you guys are able to follow along, right? Obviously, we have lower highs and lower lows being able to maintain themselves. We can clearly see right around here where, boom, we kind of ended this downtrend right here, successfully making lower highs and lower lows, but actually making a low at the lowest point, right? We then see that we pushed up, letting us know that we had a break of structure around here, and now we see a lot of rejection to this upside, right? Backtrack a little bit, we can actually see that once sellers kind of took over with this engulfing, that none of these candles have been able to break above the retest area, indicating that sellers may be able to potential to take the move back over and down, or maybe the market may gap down to go back up. We can kind of wait and see how it starts, but we can see that this area is acting as a major area of support. You can see where we transitioned. You can see the counter trend line even here on the 1 hour. I'm sorry, the 2 hour. You can see it better on the 1 hour though, where we kind of clearly made this transition of trend. So now we're on the lookout for this retest, right? And essentially I was looking out for these candlesticks up here showing us a tested candle or some form of a engulfing, which probably looks like this, right? Which we got right here. So because of that, I kind of know where I am within structure. I can see that this engulfing at the top, since sellers took over right here. No buyer has been able to break above this area, letting me know that price is going to solidify to go back down, which again, based off of this 1 hour, we have this beautiful Fibonacci area, right? So then we go down to the lower time frame. Oh, hold on. So then we go down to like about the 30-minute and we can see the structure. And all we just really need is a clear break of this area, which if we could just use the 750 as a resistance here, we could actually ride this move down. When it comes to sell setups, I like to catch them from the top. For me, I would have had to catch it from this green line right here, but yeah. Risk to reward wise, I don't even really believe in risking this much pips for a reward, but it's just because the reward is so great. Like, it's a good trade to kind of go for. And these are like the type of sell setups that me, Druzy Banks, would actually go for when it is that I do trade. Like, I like to go for the sell setups that are high in probability. That just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? This is a sell setup that makes sense because we need to retest. We're clearly seeing that sellers are kind of being used here as an area to kind of push the market back down. But yeah, so allow me to continue. Yeah. So again, I wanted to push down to the 61.8, but market structure wise, this shit could do this. You feel me? It could do this. You feel me? It could do whatever it wants. It could even come to this 50. So it's like, because I truly don't know what it's gonna do as of yet, I'd rather just take the sell and ride the flow, catch my little pips, and just be in and out the markets. Cool. So that's predominantly going to be it for GJ. The only way, obviously, that we don't sell, like I said, is if we don't break this area. But we could break this area just a little bit and come down here. But I'm expecting this area to break just because of how tough the resistance is. But at the same time, if this support just keeps on holding this area, then it's never going to break. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it can't really break under the 191,500 area, then we're cool. But price needs to print under the 191,500 in order for us to officially be broken of this area. Based on the amount of times that I've seen it come to this area, this has to break that first for me to be confidently able to enter some sells. So really and truly, we could probably make it down here to where it makes a little bit more risk to reward wise, because I want to catch something while in the process of happening, if that makes sense, not before it happens. That's how you get stopped out. But yeah, so that's gonna be pretty much predominantly it for GJ. Gold, don't judge me. I've been trading gold wildly lately. So we're going to kind of start off on the daily. Obviously, we know what gold is. We know that gold has been, goddamn, making all-time highs. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of gold. Going down to the 10-hour time frame, we can see that the higher highs and higher lows are still being maintained even in this direction of trend, just based on where we are market structure-wise. Give me a second. Let me draw it. So you can see from predominantly down here where we had a transition of the trend right here where we broke structure and started shifting up to the upside. Higher lows and higher highs have really been kind of maintaining itself, letting us know that the uptrend bias is really, really strong. But now we've kind of getting to the fact of where we clearly made resistance at 29,450, right around up here. So we can clearly see that up here is an area of resistance. So now we're beginning to look for maybe a break back down to the downside just because we made these all-time highs. I was really kind of checking out this area right here where you see I have this zone, just give and take, because I'll kind of show you in HD. This area is a previous area of support, so I really want price to break this area so then we can begin to look for sells on the lower time frames. Looking at it, the rejection area is a little bit more greater, so there's a lot that we'd have to break through. But if we can break through this, cool. But not if we find this, even if we find this area right here, support, we can ride gold kind of going back up. So with gold, we kind of just been respecting this area. I can see that right around over here where sellers are kind of trying to take over at, they respected. And then not only that, but we had sellers kind of do a clean sweep from up here to where they just took over here and dropped us, and they broke minor structure. As you can see, we get down to the 1 hour. You can see minor structure right here to where we actually broke this little area right here that I'm about to highlight. Breaking this area and then retesting it, causing us to drop down, going for a great risk to reward setup. See, I like the risk to reward setups that make the most sense as far as for where I am within structure. Keep on saying that, right? Trying to make it a lot of sense to you guys. Boom. If my stop loss can be like around here to where this is the rejection area and this is the reward based on the higher time frame, then this is the setup, right? And then the goal is, obviously, when you get lower, the goal is to see how can you better that entry based off of conditions that you already saw. Which right here, I could begin to tell you that once we even saw this, and this was the retest, the moment that sellers took over, which would be right here, we could have went for an entry towards the sell side, which risk to reward wise would have made perfect sense for what we were trying to do, because in this scenario we've already came and respected right here. So take the trade stop loss there, kind of good. And you just want to take the risk to reward setups that just makes sense. Obviously we have a transition in here, but again, kind of where we are within this pair, even though we had a smooth transition and it was a lot of ticks down, we're in a big defined area of a range. So before we do anything, obviously buyers are striving to take control. First, I want to kind of watch what price action does right here, because price action can kind of actually make a transition right here. So I told myself that, as of right now, I'm trading what I see, not what I want. And clearly right now, price is showing that it's making some type of support. So I'm going to wait for a breakout to the upside to float the momentum back up to this zone, potentially for a retest if that's what we're looking for. So that's kind of going to be my bias. I want it to break to take the sells going down low. But as of right now, I'm trading what I see. And right now what I see is that we're making an area of support around here and that we could go long and go back up for this much amount of pips, right? Just kind of looking at where we're at, just based on this area holding as support. But if we could actually break this area and come down, it would be very good for us. But that's going to kind of be my bias on Goldie. You know what I'm saying? Gold is good for the heart. All right, cool. Last but not least, we're going to break down NAS100. Oof. NAS100, I've been trading this pair as a different as of lately. I'll kind of show you the NAS since we're going to be dealing with it predominantly on futures. Obviously, we have our QPs in set, been doing a little bit of more so back testing. I'm expecting NAS just based off of this higher time frame. We can kind of alleviate all the data real quick. Move over drawing tools, right? Notice that this NAS kind of maybe close a little bit higher, so we'll just mark up this one, move all 50. All right, cool. We can clearly see, as of right now, we have two things going on with NAS. And really with NAS, I don't really ever need this much data, but I just want to kind of show you, like, at least where I'm at with it, right? NAS is one of those pairs where it ranges, but it's still in the trend, right? This is from December till now, so we have to pay attention on what's going on with current price action, right? So when we come to this time frame, right, obviously we have a supply zone that we just act as an area of support, and obviously we have this area where we're making all-time highs where we could actually break and continue. Going down to the lower time frames, however, we see that we finally gained enough momentum through here to where we were doing these wide areas of retest and wide areas of structure going down, going up, going down, going up, right? And we go down to the lower time frame, we can clearly see that we've been actually trending since February 3rd. So this whole month, really and truly, we've been trending. Now, we were trending January too, but kind of like in a range. We just actually broke out in February, like the 13th, which a couple of days ago, out of this range. So now what I'm expecting, just based on the price action that I see, now that we're on the 4-hour time frame, this is where we can begin to make sense of things, right? Like, obviously, when it comes down to structure, when it just comes down to everything, these are just the pinnacles of what I follow, right? Just to make sure I'm always aware of where I'm in with the trend. So that way, if an opportunity comes up, I know how to go about it, because the trend is always your friend. And in this situation, like, NAS100 was kind of like just ranging, but it was still maintaining certain high points. And those high points that it was maintaining is what actually led to the breakout to the upside. So one thing that I want to kind of show y'all is within this defined area right here, this same area where it broke is where it kind of made support. We'll probably see it a little bit more better on the lower end of the time frames. Like, obviously, it's somewhere right around here within just the middle, but right around here was like a predominant retest area. Hopefully in the 1 hour, we could probably see it declare us. Yes, we can. Amen. So check it out. From the 1 hour time frame, just basically where price kind of even gapped out, just throughout this defined range right here. We could even base it from here or from here, but this is like basically the defined range of the area right in here. And we'll make this black, right? Now, technically, as we go down lower, we got to be able to kind of make sense of this area. And you could see it from right here where there was like a lot of rejection. And then we kind of turned around and used it as support. Literally where we gapped that, boom. And where we came back to, got the retest. Once we got this retest, we came down. We followed back here with support, getting this retest from here. And then we started to make the beautiful trend, right? With NAS100, for me, 30 minutes is kind of like that sweet spot of where you can have your trend lines. And this is where you can have your other technicalities to kind of help you really make it make sense in where you are within the trend, because the more touches you got, the better you are. You dig what I'm saying? Going down predominantly to the 15 minute, you can basically see where we are as of right now to where this high was the high in the overall area. So I'm expecting price with NAS to actually begin to come back down and get a retest just based on this area, right? And I'll go back to the 1 hour so y'all can see it, but it just looks somewhere like around this area right here where we're just coming back for a retest, right? Because ideally, this was like the last market structure retest within this area after we found support, because at this point, right, every pullback that we made up into this point has been something of a structure area, right? And just following the structured areas, you can see that once price kind of got right here, right? Like we tested that area, but once we kind of got right here, we stayed in this area, holding this area of support. That's why this zone is just, it's very ideal. You dig? And then even when we maintained, we retest, and then we pushed off from here, breaking the area. So really and truly, it was this area right here that allowed us to break structure to continuously go to the upside. So what I'm anticipating now is that we get a retest somewhere within here just based off of this area being the previous area of structure. So now, obviously, we're trending up. I would wait for this retest to ride it back down to here, see how we do. That's enough ticks for the day. And predominantly what I'm looking for in futures is to, again, if the trend is ready, once it gives me a clear indication that it has transitioned and broken, that I ride some of the sell volume down. So only if it gives me a clear indication. Outside of that, I would be buying. Has to give me a clear indication. So that's really going to predominantly be it when it comes for all of these pairs, NAS, gold, and GJ. I appreciate you guys giving me the time to break this down for y'all. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and just drop a comment below on what you think is going to happen on one of these pairs. Make sure you drop the pair name so I know what pair you're talking about, and just drop that below. That being said, deuces.